Okay, so now we're live, so it says. So welcome everyone to another morning sutta study and Tuesday morning sutta study. And I'm Aya Sivijana. This is Aya Niyanika. And we're going to look at a sutta that's about the teachings and an inspiration of joy, which leads to awakening. So it's in the numerical discourses. And we both did some work on this document that I'm going to just about to share. See, this looks like it here. Okay. All right. So can you see the document?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to try to move this somehow. So it gets, there it goes. All right. So there's this is Bhante Sujato's translation of the title Opportunities for Freedom. And Bhikkhu Bodhi is just translated as liberation. But the word can be translated as we'll get to it in a moment, where the title comes from. So welcome. So this is Anguttara Nikaya 5.26. And I have Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi's, Bhante Bodhi's translation. It hasn't been indexed. This is Bhante Sujato's that is inserted a little bit, and this is Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi's. And if you see the word mendicants, it's most likely to be Bhante Sujato, and in this translation, Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi hasn't translated the word bhikkhu. But if you see this word, monk, bhikkhu, mendicant, just include yourself in this. There's a Nanaponika, I think it was, in this his teaching on the Satipatthana. He said, whenever you see the word monk, just think practitioner or meditator or those who are dedicated to the Dhamma. And it's likely the Buddha was speaking to more than just the bhikkhus, but there was a tradition at the time to address either the senior-most member of a group or the senior-most, so-called senior-most, or in this case, who's closest to the Buddha. So we'll start reading. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammam sangham namasami. So I'll read Bhante Bodhi's, and would you read Bhante Sujata's one? Okay, so this is Bhante Bodhi's translation. Bhikkhus, there are these 5 bases of liberation by means of which, if a bhikkhu dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, his unliberated mind is liberated. his undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and he reaches the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage. What, 5? So this is
Mendicants. There are these 5 opportunities for freedom. If a mendicant stays diligent, keen, and resolute at these times, their mind is freed, their defilements are ended, and they arrive at the supreme sanctuary from the yoke. Do you want the Pali?
Do you want to just read the Pali? You could read the Pali.
Panchimani bhikkhave vimutta yatan
Yatta.
Vimutyayatanani yata bhikkhunno apamatasa atapino pahitatasa viharato avimutang va chitang vimuchati aparikina va asava parikayang gachanti ananupatang va anuttarang yoga Kemang Anupa Punati.
So I've taken a few of the Pali words, and there's a digital translator that makes it very easy for me. So I just so there's this apamata. This translated as diligent, vigilant, careful, attentive to. So and then atapi. I have that word lower down translated. Atapi, avid, ardent, zealous, with continuous effort, and pahita, resolute, determined, applying oneself. That must be an F there. There we go. So these qualities are something important to arrive at the supreme sanctuary from the yoke, or as Bhante Bodhi says, unsurpassed security from bondage. This is so this is complete liberation is what he's talking about here. So these qualities are needed to apply ourselves. It's interesting that apamata, it's apamado, I think is a noun, but it's translated as diligent also. Careful and attentive is also there. So there's a pretty strong words here like zealous, continuous effort, ardent, resolute, determined, applying oneself. But I think it's this continuity that's important, as well as we do have to apply ourselves to whatever degree we can in order to be successful. But then there is these elements that the Buddha is pointing out here, which helps us with what we're applying ourselves to is the teaching or to our meditation practice. So I'll read Bhante Bodhi's translation here. Here, bhikkhus, a teacher or a fellow monk in the position of a teacher teaches the Dhamma to a bhikkhu or to anyone. And then this is Bhante Sujato starting. Firstly, the teacher or a respected spiritual companion teaches the Dhamma to a mendicant. So here we have Ida bhikkhave bhikkhuno sattha dhamman de seti anyutaro wa Tanil Sabrahmachari. So the sutta here is the teacher, but it's interesting at the this is spoken at the time when the Buddha was still present. So this could also mean that the teacher meaning the Buddha. So then and the seti is preach, teach, or instruct. And then this word is interesting. It's Garutanio as a respectable, venerable, but literally it's in place of the teacher. And there's this Garu here. And the Garu means teacher, and that became guru, esteemed person. And that part is having to do with someone in place of. So in place of the another a junior teacher or something like that, like there's the main teacher and then someone else may be giving the teaching. So would you read this section here, please? In whatever way.
Okay. In whatever way the teacher or that fellow monk in the position of a teacher teaches the Dhamma to the bhikkhu, in just that way he experiences inspiration in the meaning and inspiration in the Dhamma. As one does so, joy arises in them. When one is joyful, rapture arises. For one with a rapturous mind, the body becomes tranquil. One tranquil in body feels pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated. This is the first basis of liberation, by means of which, if a person dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, their unliberated mind is liberated, their undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and they reach the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage in the yoga.
So this hearing the teaching and applying one's mind to the teaching, they feel inspired, and this inspiration brings up joy and rapture. But I think it's because of the some degree of understanding of what's being said. It's not just the charisma of the teacher or something like that. Or later the guru had this psychic power that they could just, zap people and make them wake up or something. It's not like that. It's more because you're ardent, resolute. Excuse me. You're receptive.
You're receptive to it.
Receptive. Yeah. So attending closely to what's being said and receptive and applying yourself to what's being taught. And then there's many suttas where there is somebody in the audience when the Buddha is giving a teaching and they wake up as a result from hearing the teaching. So they probably went through this experience starting with the inspiration in the meaning and inspiration in the Dhamma. And then this whole sequence, what is this called?
Jim Colo calls it the well-being cascade, and that works for me a lot. The well-being cascade.
Because you have like these causal chains, like dependent origination, you end up plunk into dukkha. But this is like where the cascade is uplifting in and lifting us towards liberation of the heart. So it's really beautiful that this is described, and that the joy in the practice is actually nutriment. It's fuel or nutriment for waking up. And this is Bhante Sujato's translation. They always feel inspired by the meaning and the teaching in that Dhamma. Feeling inspired, joy springs up. Being joyful, rapture springs up. When the mind is full of rapture, the body becomes tranquil. When the body is tranquil, one feels bliss. And when blissful, the mind becomes immersed in samadhi. This is the first opportunity for freedom. If a mendicant stays diligent, keen, and resolute at that time, their mind is freed, their defilements are ended, and they arrive at the supreme sanctuary from the yoke. I did put that translation for this at the end, but that's okay. We'll get to it. So there's this, if they stay, it says here, if they stay diligent, keen, and resolute. So as they're having this experience of joy and rapture and becoming, there's some application of the mind. It's not just kind of going into kind of a blissful la la land. They're applying wisdom to the experience as well. And I think that comes up somewhere in this as we progress along.
Well, they're ardent and resolute, so this is not a dullness. This is,
Right.
attentiveness.
Yeah, and they've applied the mind already to the teaching. So it's kind of like the almost like there's a sutta where the insight precedes the
Serenity.
so the serenity or the yeah,
Stilling.
and then there's the opposite of the serenity preceding the insight, and then in tandem, and then pondering the teaching until one has really penetrated it is another of that sequence. But now we're on number 2 of the opportunities for freedom. Did I get that? I thought I captured that word somewhere.
It's a beautiful word. You're talking about the Yoga Kema?
No, it's the word opportunity for freedom. It's probably down below
The
here.
opportunity for freedom.
I think it's down below.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's down below. Again, neither the teacher nor a fellow monk in the position of a teacher teaches the Dhamma to a bhikkhu, but they themselves teaches the Dhamma to others in detail as they have heard and learned it. So this is someone who's awakened teaching others. And this appears in the suttas too, where somebody was a non-returner and the other bhikkhus were questioning if they thought that he was an arhat. And he said, no, I'm not an arhat. And so they said, well, what's the difference? Well, so he had to explain. They kept questioning and questioning him, and through this questioning, he came up with some beautiful similes, and then they all woke up, including him giving the teaching. So this process of teaching others can be a means to awakening. Do you want to read Bhante Sujato's furthermore?
Furthermore, it may be that neither the teacher nor a respected spiritual companion teaches Dhamma to a mendicant, but the mendicant teaches Dhamma in detail to others as they learned and memorized it.
So at the time of the Buddha, there wasn't much in writing. I think it was written word was extremely rare. So people memorized and recited. And then they were able to teach others because they've memorized the teaching. And there's something really powerful about memorization because sometimes things that you memorized and you might be just reciting it rote, and then all of a sudden it dawns on you what you're saying, and it's like, oh, there's some depth of understanding arises. Sometimes, like in meditation, sometimes I'll remember something from the suttas, and it'll help point me in a particular, because I've gone over the sutta a number of times, and um, things like similes are very also powerful because it's for me, I can remember similes and stories pretty easily. And so sometimes a simile will come up and it'll help me uh, during the course of meditation. So this memorization is a very powerful tool. And the teaching may come to us just at the right time when we need it. So there's this word, yata pariyata, as one has learned according to one's understanding. Would you read this part again?
In whatever way the bhikkhu teaches the Dhamma to others in detail, as he has heard it and learned it, in just that way, in relation to that Dhamma, he experiences inspiration in the meaning and inspiration in the Dhamma. As he does so, joy arises in him. When he is joyful, rapture arises. For one with a rapturous mind, the body becomes tranquil. One tranquil in body feels pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated. This is the second basis of liberation, by means of which, if a bhikkhu dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, his unliberated mind is liberated, his undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and he reaches the as of yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage.
Again, neither the teacher nor a fellow monk or fellow practitioner in the position of a teacher teaches the Dhamma, or to a practitioner, to a bhikkhu, bhikkhuni practitioner, nor do they teach the Dhamma to others in detail as they have learned it, but they recite the Dhamma in detail as they have heard it and learned it. So I think this is what I was referring to earlier,
that's what I thought.
more. But so this is the power of reciting things again and again, because yeah, sometimes it really penetrates our heart after repeated uh, recitation. So Bhante Sujata says rehearses here.
Mm.
Furthermore, it may be that neither the teacher nor, and ellipse to, the mendicant teaches the Dhamma, but the mendicant rehearses the teaching in detail as they learned and memorized it. So this word sajai, rehearsed, recited, studied, recited together. So it could be even like reciting it in a group of people. and the meaning really is penetrating the heart. For me, the sada, the confidence or faith or trust in the Dhamma, sometimes that feeling of joy, yeah, it does come up. The feeling of appreciation, and then just some of the words are just so beautiful, but then there's also the meaning of them that's inspiring. Would you read this part again?
In whatever way.
Yeah.
In whatever way, the bhikkhu teaches the Dhamma to others in detail as he heard it and learned it. In just that way, in relation to the Dhamma, they experience inspiration in the meaning and inspiration in the Dhamma. As they do so, joy arises in them. When they are joyful, rapture arises. For one who is rapturous, with a rapturous mind, the body becomes tranquil. One tranquil in body feels pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated. This is the second basis of liberation, by means of which, if a practitioner dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, their unliberated mind is liberated. Their undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and they reach the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage.
Oh, it was the third, but that's
Oh,
okay. That's
that
okay.
was, okay, that did feel like we'd done that one before. All right, so we were reciting,
Yes, and now would you read the number four?
starting with again.
Yeah.
Again, neither the teacher nor a fellow practitioner in the position of a teacher teaches the Dhamma to a person, nor do they teach the Dhamma to others in detail as they heard it and learned it, nor do they recite the Dhamma in detail as they heard it and learned it, but they ponder and examine and mentally inspect the Dhamma as they have heard it and learned it.
So this is for us, we could be reading something again and again. And but also it could be coming up in memory as well. Uh, and I think for some of us looking at the Pali, I talk about pondering the Pali and looking at various translations and looking at um, Pali in various dictionaries, even because the digital Pali is that I have access to for Sutta Central is somewhat limited, but then you can go to other dictionaries and just really kind of go, and it seems like an intellectual process, but it's just really trying to dig into what the meaning of what's being said. What is the Buddha pointing to? How is it applicable to my life? Um, so this pondering, examining, mentally inspect, and Bhante Sujato says, but the mendicant thinks about, considers the teaching in their heart, examining it with the mind as they learned and memorized it. So we have these words, anuitakiti, and it would be KT, I think. Anuit taka. So anu is and the vitaka is in here. Ponders, reflects, rethinks, considers. So this is kind of going over it again and again, which I think this happens sometimes spontaneously. It's not something we want to force on ourselves, but it's like, really having a desire to understand deeply and really, going for it. And then there's a new vichareti. This is vitaka vichara is here. Uh, re-looks at, re-examines, reflects, meditates on. And then manas Manasanupekati. And then mentally recollects, mentally investigates, reconsiders in the mind. So this is really actively trying to understand what's being said. And then it's not that you're kind of getting frustrated. Apparently, in this case, you're not getting frustrated and exhausted trying to do this. But I know there are people that someone who has said that he just, even just with a hard copy of the Majjhima Nikaya and then reading it and looking at the notes and thinking about it and saying that, looking up other references and it stayed up for hours and it didn't get tired. It was just more um, uplifting rather than exhausting.
Mhm.
And so then, in whatever way the bhikkhu, bhikkhuni practitioner ponders, examines, and mentally inspects the Dhamma as they have heard it and learned it. In this way, in relation to the Dhamma, they experience inspiration in the meaning and inspiration in the Dhamma. And as they do so, joy arises when the when they're joyful, rapture arises. For one who is rapturous, the mind becomes tranquil. One tranquil and body feels pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, the mind becomes immersed in samadhi. I like that better than the word concentrated, but
Yeah.
And that is the fourth basis of liberation, by means of which, if one dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, their unliberated mind is liberated. The undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and they reach the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage. Would you read 5?
Again, neither the teacher nor a fellow monk in the position of a teacher teaches the Dhamma to a person, nor does that person teach the Dhamma to others in detail as they have heard it and learned it, nor do they recite the Dhamma in detail as they have heard it and learned it, nor do they ponder and examine and mentally inspect the Dhamma as they have heard it and learned it, but they have grasped well a certain object of meditation, attended to it well, sustained it well, and penetrated it well with wisdom.
So here appears this word, samadhi nimitta, and it has some significance in certain circles. But a meditation subject as a basis of immersion is properly grasped, focused on, borne in mind, and penetrated with wisdom. So it's not like the person is just suddenly um, out of the blue meditating. They've had to have some instruction and learning and background in the Dhamma. But this is their particular gateway. So this word, samadhi nimitta, is a cause for meditative composure, basis for meditative mental stillness, stability. Sign is literally. So there's samadhi. Nimitta is sign, just means a sign, like a so sometimes it's considered the object of meditation, like the breath. And then it transforms into a mental object. So in the commentaries, it's object of meditation, stability sign. So it's what's keeping the mind collected and stable. And that may transform over the course of the meditation from the breath to, it may be for some people experiencing light. But it's a what brings stability to the mind. And then there's this word, sugahita, well grasped, correctly understood, well learned, taken in the right way. And there's supatiwida, thoroughly penetrated, completely understood. I thought I had panyaya. I guess panyaya has having to do with wisdom. Panya is wisdom. So it's penetrated with wisdom. So, would you read this section here, please? In whatever way.
In whatever way the practitioner has grasped well a certain object of meditation, attended to it well, sustained it well, and penetrated it well with wisdom, in just that way, in relation to that Dhamma, they experience inspiration in the meaning and inspiration in the Dhamma. As she does so, joy arises in her. When she is joyful, rapture arises. For one with a rapturous mind, the body becomes tranquil. One tranquil in body feels pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, the mind becomes settled. This is the fifth basis of liberation, by means of which, if a practitioner dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, her unliberated mind is liberated, her undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and she reaches the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage. No, these are the five bases of liberation by which, if one dwells heedful, ardent, and resolute, the unliberated mind is liberated, the undestroyed taints are utterly destroyed, and one reaches the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage.
So this is Bhante Sujato's translation here. In whatever way a mendicant's meditation subject as a basis of immersion is properly grasped. That's kind of a mouthful. Mendicant's meditation subject as a basis of immersion there is properly grasped, focused on, borne in mind, and penetrated with wisdom. They always feel inspired by the meaning and the teaching in that Dhamma. Feeling inspired, joy springs up. And there's a pamoja, jayati. Being joyful, rapture springs up. Pamutitasa piti jayati. So that's the piti is the rapture, according to this translation. When the mind is full of rapture, the body becomes tranquil. Piti manasa kayo pasambati. When the body is tranquil, one feels bliss. Pasadi, pasadakayo, sukham vedeti. And when blissful, the mind becomes immersed in samadhi. Sukhino chitam samadhiyati. This is the fifth opportunity for freedom. This is the vimutayatana, the basis. Oh, see, this is where I translated it way down here. I got the translation. I grabbed the translation from Sutta Central.
Mhm.
We mutayatana, base for deliverance, reason for release, cause for liberation. So this is a causal chain, a positive causal chain. And also called a well-being cascade, a joyful cascade
Mhm.
that leads us to liberation. These are the 5 opportunities for freedom if a mendicant stays diligent, keen, and resolute at these times. So there's these elements have to be there as well. And we have here the yoga kema, and it says, it's translated as spiritual safety, security, sanctuary, rest from the yoke.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
And then so yoga came so that's why Bhante Sujato rest freedom from bondage
Well,
is
the
because some yogina here is bound, bondage, fetter, tied. So this is really arahantship we're talking. And then Nyanaka here has placed something. Can we put it in a larger font? This is
here,
kind of small.
I'll make it a larger font. There.
Thank you. Great.
Mhm.
So that's what was the bumping around was this being placed. Was this from the other tab you
No, I just
did?
created it just now.
Okay. Okay. So here we have the 5 ways to freedom. We'll listen to the Dhamma, teaching the Dhamma, but it has to include this atapis.
Right,
It has
all of
to
this has to be
diligent, keen, and resolute at the time you are listening, teaching, rehearsing, or reciting, um, pondering, thinking about, and applying the meditation subject properly. And then Nyanika can take over here because this is.
I think we've kind of, did you want to go through the poly of the cascade or no?
Good.
Okay, so
Starting
so,
with inspiration in
yes,
the Dhamma.
then this sense of well-being arises. And the word there, jayati, is that arising.
Can I make this wider somehow? So,
Let's you already have the tabs. Yeah, there you go.
okay, so let's get
And then scroll. There you go.
rolled it. There, now that's better.
Yes. So the pamoja, that's this joy, happiness, gladness, and it's a state of happiness that's arisen. And I like the translation well-being, a sense of well-being arises. And when that well-being arises, then that's a cause for joy, for this piti. And that's something that's delightful. There's often a bodily sensation with this of the joy. So there's a physicality to it at this point. And with this physicality of joy, then really the body can relax. And that's kayo is the body, and pasam, so that's the pasati. That's like the vihara here, pasadi. It's that same quality, this relaxation, this quiet, the settling, becoming tranquil. I like to use Ajahn Kovlo's translation there, that one's body relaxes. And you may notice sometimes with piti, it can be quite energizing. Sometimes it's subtle, but sometimes it's quite energizing. And then there comes a point where the mind says, oh, could this be more peaceful? And so then there's this body relaxation that occurs. So then we end up more in the mental realm with sukha. So having the relaxed body, then this mental experience of the happiness, the tonality comes in, and there's this. I also like to think of it as ease, comfortable. I'm now, it's a contentment. So the settling is not dull. There is a pleasant, stable happiness. And then Chittang Samadhiyati. So this is where the calming is happening. And rather than using a word like concentrated, I like settled. So I think Ajahn Kovalo still used concentration, but I changed it. The heart becomes settled. And this is really the quality of the heart mind, the chitta. And then from what that is in this cascade, we're at this place, we have this basis that there is this opportunity for freedom or a basis for deliverance, a reason for release. So it's something that just cascades because from this follows, from this follows. And in your meditation or your practice of studying the Dhamma, there may be hitches, just like there is if the waterfall is just not clear, there are boulders along the way. You might get stuck in a pool or an eddy at some point, but then eventually it carries you on and on and on. Liberation is possible and the flow is natural.
Yeah, so this samadhiyati, calmed, becomes collected, becomes composed, becomes stable, and it's a placed together here. And one translation too is collectedness of mind. So the mind is becoming unified. There's all this is a so samadhi can get to greater depths. And usually the liberation has to be linked with the panya, with the wisdom, with the insight. And yeah, for most of the these 5 factors leading or being opportunities of freedom, they were actually having to do with hearing or somehow reflecting or understand, getting some understanding of the Dhamma. And the samadhi was the final one, but they go together. I don't think they one cannot be without the other. The samatha and the vipassana together.
Yeah, if you look at the further cascade and other suttas, from that samadhi comes the knowing and seeing in accordance with reality, disenchantment, dispassion, and freedom.
But what's beautiful about this sutta is does talk about how important it is to be hearing, somehow engaged with the teachings. So we have about 10 minutes left. I'm going to stop the screen share. And welcome everyone who's joined. So if there is a question in regards to what has just been read and discussed, that would be welcome.
And then we'll have a little time after the Zoom for other questions if they're emerging.
Joseph.
Thank you, Venerables. This is a sublime sutta, and I just wanted to start by saying sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Absolutely sublime, so sublime. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you deeply. I wanted to ask, as a layperson, I'm inclined to art and visual thinking, and I wanted to ask about the idea of hearing the Dhamma. Can artists make visual Dhamma teachings? Can we teach with visual language and have the same type of effect, or is it specific that the Dhamma needs to be heard? I was wondering if Dhamma art is possible as a layperson. Thank you, Sadhu.
Oh, that's a very good and interesting question, because I know for Sada, the inspiration to see like the image of the Buddha or something being depicted, um, it maybe for the artist themselves, it would be kind of like the person who's, I mean, like what you're putting into it. There's a uh, the inspiration comes from the heart, and I think the like a yeah, the visual art.
It's a
It,
means of thinking about
yeah,
examining, learning, memorizing, it's a means of the pondering
could,
is the art creation.
could be, yeah, could be, or that, yeah, there's a um see the stone carving of acrobats,
Mm,
um and the simile of the acrobat. And it could be a person that's, like you'd be thinking about that sutta while doing that. And I've have seen drawings depicting some of the similes, and it could be um I might see that, like somebody did a very uh inspiring uh drawing or sculpture or something, and then it would remind me of a particular simile or story of the Buddha. And yeah, that it could bring up that inspiration, which would trigger that whole cascade. It could be just uh but I think for the artist, there would be could be an avenue for the artist, and it could be an avenue for others as well. But they'd have to know, oh, I know, Joseph, there's in the Tibetan uh uh in the Vajrayana practice, they do paintings, these really detailed
mhm.
paintings. And um this was one teaching on the called the nine stages of calm abiding, and it's depicting each stage.
What I was thinking of too.
And so for a person that's doing that practice, to know what's represented in the painting, they'd have to have some understanding of it. But it can be a tool. Art can be a tool. It has been used
Mhm.
extensively in the Vajrayana. So I think, yeah, you're on something.
Even at Wat Banananjat, there's a sweet video somewhere on the internet of teaching children, and I'm sure there were plenty of adults there enamored with it as well, that where they were telling the story from the sutta and doing that sand shadow painting. And so they were depicting, and then with sand, just like with some of the Tibetan, like doing the sand, the impermanence, and so the motion and the creation of it, along with the words of the sutta, I'm sure not only captivated the interest of, but brought up this cascade of well-being in those who were watching. So I think it can both be a two of the teaching and it for the pondering. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that question. So we have, does someone else have a question? About the teaching we just read? So we could close for now if there's no further questions, and then we can, if people want to stay on for further discussion, then please do. So we'll pay respects to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, if you care to join us. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Bhuttam Bhagavantam Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami